At some point during one of the SmackDown meetings, McMahon says something along the lines of, some of the talent has to do things better, or some of them might be flipping burgers in a few months.
There you go.
And the source that tells that to Wade says that rubs some of the guys the wrong way. It's not the best approach to take if he wants to help motivate people, which seemed to be
That's
his goal.
bullshit right there. What Wade said, Conrad, God damn it. What Wade said was bullshit in that respect. It's not hard. You change, you fix it. You just don't ignore it. So, well, it's passe. Oh, bullshit. It's not passe. It's timely. Use the referee to your advantage. Let him work for you as opposed to you working for him, and make it make sense.
Well, hang on. We're not talking about referees, but Vince saying, hey, some of you guys are going to be flipping burgers in a few months. That's not a motivator. That's a demotivator.
Really?
You were motivated when Vince said, if you don't do a good job tonight, I'm firing your ass.
He never said that to me, but yeah, that would be true.
It just feels
but
like
I look at it as a challenge, and a challenge to do better and to refine your work. But no, we've been too easy on these guys for all these years, and at least that's my thought at the time. Maybe it wasn't talent friendly, but goddamn, how much babysitting can you do, Conrad?
Yeah.
How much you're okay? Don't worry, we'll take care of it. Bullshit. Be responsible, and that's all we were asking. Be responsible and understand and know your role.
Well, let's talk about Trish Stratus. Among the wrestlers who spoke up on the January 12th meeting Raw were Trish, Hunter, Tommy Dreamer, Lance Storm, and Earl Hebner. And in response to McMahon's reaction to Trish's question at the open forum, says one colleague, quote, she was made to feel stupid. She shouldn't have been. She made a good point, end quote. Trish was arguing that house shows would draw better if the lineup reflected what was happening on TV more closely. Plus, crowds would be more into the matches if there was a storyline behind them. So this seems like a good point that Trish has, but I guess it's met with some unkind words from Vince. And I wonder, were these Vince's meetings or were these Vince's beatings?
Season's beatings.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I took that as a personal assault, and Trish and I have always had a great relationship, but I booked the fucking house shows, and the house shows followed the television. If Stone Cold had a big match on TV with Triple H, let's say, we're going to follow that into the house shows. And so I disagree with her point on that deal. She's right in theory that the events at the live events should follow the house show. The house show should follow what we see on TV. But on TV, you're booking in depth 2 or 3 matches deep, and you can't put together an entire card with 2 or 3 matches. That could be your foundation, but it can't be the total picture. So I took exception to that. It wasn't accurate, and by the way, we were drawing money. We're selling lots of tickets at that era, if you recall.
Let's talk about some of the other notes from a Raw meeting. This is from the Torches report. McMahon said he's been dying for someone to grab the brass ring and become the new top tier star. A lot of wrestlers groaned at that, saying to themselves, the only rings that have value in WWE are won by Triple H and Stephanie. Regarding Vince, saying multiple times that he wanted everyone to look at Shawn and Hunter as the model match to emulate, one wrestler says, to say work like those guys, but you only have 3 or 5 minutes to do, it's unrealistic. Asking us to work like Triple H and Shawn Michaels did is fine, but when will we get 2 or 3 match segments to build to a TV match like they did? It's impossible to do what Vince wants us to do in the time we're usually given. And this isn't the first time we've been told this. Last year, basically the same thing was said. And when some of the wrestlers did what they were told, they got chewed out by the agents after the matches for losing the crowd or pacing themselves too slowly. then everyone just goes back to the way things were. It's really just a mixed message for all of us, and it's very frustrating. This is an interesting report, whoever's talking to Wade. And I see their point. Hey, man, it's hard to go out there and have a 25-minute match and get over with the crowd with your work and build each other up if you've got 5 minutes, including ring entrances.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
You gotta adapt and stop making fucking excuses. Make that 5 minutes scintillating shit as best you can. Go all out. Create an aura of that 5-minute presentation. And that's what you have the opportunity to do on a big television stage. But everybody's got an excuse. Everybody's looking for a reason, just like this, why they're not successful. What have you done differently? Are you a good enough worker to make that 5 minutes of time a good investment by the company and by yourself? A lot of guys said no. That was their excuse. And I ain't got no place in my game for excuses.
Brian Kendrick is going to come to work on January 13th and ask for his release. He's been concerned about the possibility of getting fired. He's not really thrilled with how much money he's been making. And when he started to think about what would I do if I did get fired, it wasn't as bad as he thought, because he realized he could get his job back with 0-1, and he wants to leave. And it's written in the Torch that he, quote unquote, just decided to beat the cuts. Why do you think Brian Kendrick in his second run here in WWE didn't enjoy more success? I mean, it felt like once upon a time, man, hey, this guy, was it just bad timing?
His lack of size is going to limit his ascension. He was a junior heavyweight. He was a cruiserweight, whatever weight you want to say. That's what he was. Good talent, but he was never going to draw big money being 160 pounds. This was not going to happen.
So let's talk about it, man. We're finally here. What a big Royal Rumble it was. Royal Rumble 2004. It went down January 25th at the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia. It's a show designed to elevate Chris Benoit and set up some WrestleMania programs, but somehow the timing of the show was an issue, and they only had 6 minutes for the world title match. But no issue here. $1.1 million at the gate. That's nearly a Royal Rumble record. And we know what they just did this year. My goodness. There was a sellout, 17,289 fans. And this is a big show. Let's talk about it. We had one dark match. We've got Victoria winning a non-title match over Molly Holly in 4 minutes and 55 seconds. And now it's time for the actual pay-per-view. And we're going to start it hot, man. We've got Ric Flair and Batista teaming up to retain their tag titles over Bubba Ray and Devon. They go 4 minutes and 23 seconds. This is an interesting match, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even feel like Ric Flair should have ever been in a tag match with the Dudleys. It's like, how did that ever line up? But it happened here. Royal Rumble 2004. What do you think of that tag team, Batista and Ric Flair? That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was good booking. It was quite the attraction. Adding Flair to the any equation is a good thing in my eyes. He gave a nice rub to Batista. They're working with one of the great tag teams of all time, and the Dudleys. So I had no issue with it, especially with the Dudleys in Philly is like stealing money. They're just they were that over. And of course, there you see Coach. If you're watching on YouTube, which we encourage you to do, Coach is getting a lot of airtime. And I guess JR was responsible for part of that because he was such a pain in my ass. Which ended up in a match, the Coach and I, at some point, a country whipping match, which is always fun to do because that way you can beat the shit out of each other with a leather strap, and that's just enjoyable as hell. I jest.